Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Shane with Shane Media. In this video, we're going to be discussing the character of Stu Macher. When the marketing began for Scream 5 and news started dropping about this movie, there was a lot of speculation around that movie that Stu Macher might be coming back to the franchise. And even when that didn't happen, there was a very loyal and committed Stu fan base that not only wanted but truly believed that Radio Silence is still going to bring his character back to this franchise in some capacity, one way or another. And the latest comments from original screenwriter Kevin Williamson has breathed new life into this conversation. So I wanted to go ahead and make this video and give my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get into it.
This is the greatest part. You're gonna love this. We got a surprise for you, Cindy. Yeah, you're gonna love this one. It's a Scream, baby. Hold on a sec. I'll be right back.
So guys, this video was unplanned and off the cuff, but I'll be completely honest with you. I've not had a dog in this fight throughout this entire thing. I mean, ever since Radio Silence announced they were giving us Scream 5 right up until just a couple days ago when we got the Scream 6 teaser, I have had no real expectations outside of just give me a good movie. Write a coherent script, justify this movie's existence, give me good characters, and I'm happy. And I'm really like that with even my favorite franchises. Not that Scream isn't one of my favorite horror franchises, because it is. I mean, I've been very partial with this franchise ever since I was just a kid. I love these movies. I love every one of them. But even with Halloween, which is my #1 favorite horror franchise of all time, and one of my favorite franchises of all time, period, my expectations are generally, I'm not going to say low, because the things I want to see, I'm very particular about and I'm very critical of. But there's not a lot of boxes to check off. Like I said, coherent script, justification for this movie existing, and good characters. I want everything you do in this movie to make sense. But I don't need certain characters to come back. I don't need legacy characters to come back. I don't need specific plot points to happen. I just want a good movie, which is why I was pleased with Scream 5. I felt like they gave us a good movie. There was a lot of speculation when that movie came out. I mean, I was hearing some crazy theories about that movie. Like, there was seriously a vocal portion of this fan base that was wanting that movie to go in all kinds of different crazy directions. At least crazy to me. I mean, not like Jason X or Jason Goes to Hell crazy, but, you know, just definitely veering off the beaten path from what Scream has given us in the past. And when we got Scream 5, it was just a straightforward Scream movie. It played it very safe, and I mean that in a good way, because the Scream formula has never been a bad one. Like I said in one of my other Scream videos, if the worst Scream movie, you know, based on the general consensus, is Scream 3, I think we're doing okay with this franchise, because this franchise has never reached a low like Friday did with Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X, or like Nightmare did with Freddy's Dead or Seed of Chucky. We've never gotten anything even close to that with Scream. Every single Scream movie is still basically a 3 out of 5. So for Radio Silence to stick to that formula is a good thing, but I really think what they were trying to do is basically establish themselves and prove themselves to the fans, because let's face it, anytime you get into a niche fan base, and I would say Scream is a niche fan base, like you got Star Wars fans, you got Marvel fans, you got Halloween fans, well, you've got Scream fans, and anytime you're bringing a new creative force to an existing IP with a loyal fan base like that, you run the risk of really pissing people off. We've seen that with Star Wars. We've seen that more recently with Halloween Ends. I like that movie. Oh, Lord, that movie was not received good. But Radio Silence came in and said, all right, we're not going to do anything too crazy. We're not going to make any wild decisions here. We're just going to go back to Woodsboro, keep it at a pretty simple premise, give our audience a good Scream movie. And they did that. Now that they've proven themselves, now they're branching out a little bit and they're going in a little bit different direction. And we're going to New York in the next movie, which I'm stoked about. I mean, I am pumped to see how this movie turns out. And I have a lot of faith in it, because of what they did with Scream 5. But you had a lot of people thinking that Stu was coming back, and I even heard theories like he's been in prison this entire time and he's basically the puppet master behind all the events of Screams 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. And, you know, there were some other things. I actually heard quite a bit of things, and I was watching a lot of YouTube videos where people were making theories. And I mean, yeah, they were theories, but some of these people were convinced that we were going to see something like this in some capacity. And I'll be honest, I never thought we were going to go there. And a lot of it is because Scream has always kind of kept things in a much more grounded reality. I mean, yeah, there are some things that happen where you have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. One of those things is the fact that Woodsboro has to be the unluckiest town on the face of the earth. I mean, you've got Haddonfield, Springfield, and you've got Woodsboro. But the difference is, with the Halloween movies, there always was a supernatural-esque edge. And even in some of the sequels, we went into the cult and dark magic side of things with the Thorn trilogy. And, I mean, in Nightmare on Elm Street, it's literally a dream demon that invades your sleep. So we already have to suspend our disbelief for that entire movie just to exist. And then with Friday the 13th, I mean, the first 4 are definitely a little more grounded than the other ones. It's still a little unbelievable, but at least they all take place in what I believe is the same weekend. But, you know, once you get to part 5, you've got a copycat, and then you get to part 6, and he literally gets resurrected like a zombie. I mean, he's Frankenstein in that movie, more or less. So those movies never grounded themselves in what I would consider to be total reality, whereas Scream kind of has. And I personally believe, and I think there's a lot of people that agree with me, that if you bring Stu back after all these years, it takes away some of that credibility, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not forcing this opinion on other people. I'm not telling you that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying, in my opinion, and I know that nowadays you pretty much have to be clear on that. You have to clarify that it's your opinion. So that's what I'm doing. I believe if you bring Stu back, it just gets off into silly territory. I mean, the dude had a TV fall on his face, and I don't mean like a modern day TV that only weighs, I don't know what TVs weigh, like what, 20, 25 pounds, maybe less. Yeah, I mean, that would hurt. And I guess if it landed on you just right, it could kill you. But all in all, 9 times out of 10, you could probably survive that pretty unscathed. But I don't know how much of the audience for these movies remembers what TVs were like in the 90s and in earlier years. But TVs were freaking heavy. I honestly, I don't even know how much they weighed. 100 pounds more? Something like that. I mean, they were heavy. One of those falls on your face, you're dead. I mean, if you're not dead, you're not functional. You have no quality of life, and you're sure as hell not a mastermind behind 3 major killing sprees. Nope, I'm not buying it. So, the TV falling on your face alone is most likely killing you or giving you brain damage of some sort. And then the electrocution coming in behind it, if it didn't flatten your face, your brain is a fried egg. So, yeah, not buying it. But, like I always say, and I say this about everything, I don't care what kind of character, plot element, whatever you're introducing into a movie, it all comes down to execution. I do not want them bringing him back just for the sake of bringing him back. Because, as I said in my other video, sure, if they bring him back, if he's the big reveal that they've been hiding from their fans this entire time, he's been pulling the strings since part 3 or 4, whatever they decide to say, and they really knock it out of the park with their explanation, and they give it to us in a way that truly makes sense and is truly plausible within this realistic and grounded universe that they've built with these movies, then sure, I'll be just as excited as everyone else about his return, because yeah, he was one of my favorite characters in that first movie. And it's no secret why fans want him back so badly, because he had such a great presence in that original film. But if they just bring him back for the sake of bringing him back, they don't write it well, it comes off as very campy and silly. What they're going to do is piss a lot of people off. Yeah, maybe in the heat of the moment when people initially see him in the theater, there's going to be a lot of shock value and people are going to be excited right then. But when the dust settles and people have time to resonate with this movie, I think it's going to have a negative impact on this movie's reputation in the long run. I really do. Because the idea is to make every decision you make feel organic to the story. You don't want your plot to serve the characters. You want your characters to serve the plot. And if it just feels forced and silly and campy, like I said earlier, then you're going to run into Halloween Ends 2.0. You're going to have a bunch of angry fans going, okay, so you built all this hype around these movies and dangled this carrot in front of our faces for the last couple of years, and this is what you give us. You finally give us what we wanted and reintroduce a fan favorite character, and you didn't handle it with care. This could possibly be the last time we ever see this character in this franchise, and this is what you leave us with. They're going to feel like you left a stain on their franchise, and they're not going to be happy about it. So, in my opinion, and this is just, again, my opinion, I think you should not bring this guy back. I think bringing Kirby back is good, because her situation was quite a bit different than Stu's. For one, we never got confirmation that she died. Two, she didn't endure anything or go through anything in that movie that a person couldn't really survive, and that people haven't really survived many times. And so people are very happy to get closure on her character, and it's able to be done in a realistic manner. And you already gave us that little Easter egg in Scream 5, and so now, I mean, obviously people are going to be pissed if you don't bring her back, and rightfully so. But with Stu, we got a confirmed death. And the thing is, you don't want to step off into Halloween and Friday the 13th and Chucky territory. You don't want to start introducing that cheap gimmick of, oh, he was dead. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, he's dead again. Oh, he's back. That is a very quick and effective way to ruin your franchise, and you will cause a lot of fans to completely check out. So for me, I'd just personally rather not see him come back. I want them to stay focused on these new set of characters and just give us good movies. We don't need Stu back to have a good movie. And maybe this is just me, but when I think of Stu returning and the idea of him basically hiding in the background this entire time, all these years, just basically plotting against Sidney, I can't help but imagine that scene by Green Goblin in Tobey Maguire's first Spider-Man from 2002. Ha ha ha, I'll get you again, Spider-Man. That's what comes to my mind whenever I think of that. It's just totally cartoonish. I don't like it. So, again, it really is all down to execution, and I know I keep saying that, and I'm probably sounding redundant, but I really want to drive that point home, because I really don't want them to do this unless they really have a seriously good and creative idea up their sleeves, and they can truly knock it out of the park, because if this truly isn't handled with delicacy, it can fall flat on its face, and they will alienate a large portion of their fan base, and they don't want to do that. Not after they literally just gained their trust in the last year. So that's what I think about it, guys. Go ahead and let me know in the comments section if you agree, and you know the drill. Go ahead and like and share this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.